go. Okay. So I'm going to begin with an introduction. I wanted to thank Luis Marin for being with us this week. He's already served on the panel, and we are looking forward to his concert with soprano Fabiana Gonzalez, which will be airing Thursday evening. So a little bit of an introduction about Luis. He was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and began studying piano at the age of 7. At the age of 20, he went on to study at the Berklee College of Music. He took the Latin scene by storm and immediately started displaying his talent with jazz and salsa icons such as Andy Montanez, Keo Feliciano, Gilberto Santa Rosa, Celia Cruz, Willie Colon, Oscar de Leon, Luis Enrique, and many more. He's released 3 albums, and the third release, entitled The One, showcases his talent of diverse musical influences, exciting and introspective rhythms, and heartfelt melodic and harmonic messages. For many years, he shared his music and knowledge, teaching at the Puerto Rico Conservatory of Music, in which he served as department chair and as an active pianist for jazz ensembles and a big band teacher. Now he's recognized as a clinician in the US and in Latin America, and is a sought after pianist in the popular music market as well. So Luis, thank you for joining us today, and I will turn it over to you.
Well, hi, how is everybody? Good, perfect. What do you want to know?
Anatolia, take it away.
Nothing is okay. Nothing is fine.
Luis, anything you want to tell us.
I don't want. Me personally, I don't want to learn anything else. I don't want to know any more about nothing.
Which means you have a wealth of knowledge.
No,
to share with us.
I like to be kept ignorant of everything.
Ignorant of things.
But
not about playing the piano and the styles that you play, right?
I don't know. I really don't know. And that means that I don't know.
On the other hand, we would love to know about your accompaniment styles, popular and Latin styles, and so take it away, please.
Do you all play piano? Huh?
We all.
What you do? Yeah. I think I met some of you before. Am I right or not?
Probably.
Maybe in another thing.
Yes, on the panel. Yes.
But before that, after when we did something with the school,
you met me.
Fabiana and I.
And me. It was me, Anatolia.
What about Gina? Gina wasn't there?
No, Gina wasn't there.
She looks familiar to me for some reason. Maybe it's her smile.
Yeah.
We're from all over the US at the moment. So Anatolia is the only one in Dallas or in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Okay, because we did something with the school. Am I right?
You had me over 2 years ago, 2 Aprils ago,
for
the residency with the local students. Yeah.
But we did after the Bolero concert, we did something with some high school students. I thought some of you were there.
No, it wasn't. It was April.
It was April.
You met April from Oklahoma, from the southeastern Oklahoma state. Yeah.
No problem. Okay.
Yeah,
so, when I was thinking about this, what the first thing I did is I wrote an example, which is that first audio that I sent at the Google Drive with the music here. Okay, but maybe first what we should do is let's play the audio, and I put in the folder the lead sheet of that piece that we are playing. Maybe if you want to download it, it's called Un Poco Más. I'm gonna write it here. Let me know if you can see it. It looks like this.
I can see it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
looks like this. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's see if we can listen to the song and check the part, okay?
Un poco más y a lo mejor nos comprendemos luego. Un poco más que tengo aroma de cariño nuevo. Volvamos al camino del amor. No importa lo que tenga que olvidar. Si vamos a sufrir por un error, es preferible un ruego. Un poco más será un alivio para dos fracasos. Y si te vas, llévate al menos mis cansados brazos. Al fin que ya te di mi cariño, mi fe, mi vida entera. Si no te la llevas, ¿qué me importa? Que se queden afuera. ¿Por qué te vas, mi bien, tan deprisa y no gozas mi agonía? Si la noche se espera todo el día, espera tú también. Un poco más y a lo mejor nos comprendemos luego. Un poco más que tengo aroma de cariño nuevo. Volvamos al camino del amor. No importa lo que tenga que olvidar. Si vamos a sufrir por un error, es preferible un ruego. Un poco más será un alivio para los fracasos. Y si te vas, llévate al menos mis cansados brazos. Al fin que ya te di mi cariño, mi fe, mi vida entera. Y si no te lo llevas, ¿qué me importa? Que se queden afuera. ¿Por qué te vas, mi bien, tan deprisa y no gozas mi agonía? Si la noche se espera todo el día, espera tú también.
Okay. ¿Cómo me salgo de aquí? Okay. Okay. So that what we did is that we you got the chart? The chart there? Okay. So as you can see, there's only chords. There's no actual arrangement for that, which for me is kind of easy because I can play whatever I want. But for the singer, it's not that easy because she doesn't know what I'm gonna play. Okay, so I think if we talk about accompaniment, that's the situation that we want to be, you know, where our work as a pianist, has to be precisely to walk hand in hand with the singer, because she doesn't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do, except try to help her to keep her pitch, which is it's the main thing, no? But at some level, without the audience knowing that I'm, you know, keeping her in the right place. That's why I do some things that can be kind of surprise, because I don't want to be that obvious, because I really think that's the real art there, how to help without being obvious. Okay, I may think that in your work, all of you, or most of you, in your work, you are always playing with rhythm music. Am I right? Most of the time, I mean, except Stacy. Stacy have other kind of experience. Perfect. Good. One thing that when I was teaching at the conservatory, I had the opportunity to see classical singers being accompanied by classical pianists, and they are great. They can read everything, they can play everything because they have to, and it's a very strong thing. It's very hard. It's very, I mean, you have to be very good to do that. I don't do that because I never work on that. So, but that being said, I was always kind of critical of how what the pianist play is always like the same melody that the singer is singing. Okay, not because it sounds bad, but it actually can be kind of redundant. It can't be harmful to the perception of good pitch in the singer, because if you're playing the same note that they are singing and they are not very clear in the pitch, you are always letting people know that they are out of pitch. Okay? So, that being said, it's kind of tricky for both of them, for the singer and the pianist. Plus, it also gives you this thing that you always have to be on top of the singer, because none of you want to get this desynchronized. That's the word. How does that is pronounced?
We say out of sync.
Out of sync. That it's easier. Yeah. So it's like a marathon, you know, where you always have to be on the side of the other runner. Okay, and also stepping in at the same rhythm as the other runner, you know, which I don't think it's as natural as it should be. I mean, that's just my small opinion. No, I know there are a lot of great big reasons for it to be like that, but I always thought of that like kind of funny, you know, that you have to play, but you have to, you know, be there always. And I what I'm talking about is limitations. it kind of, close you to play in a certain way that none of them, neither the pianist or the singer, can stretch. And I think that art asks for stretching. You see? That being said, there are ways to break that chains, okay? And get both of them to start, relaxing a little bit more and play with the tempo, play with the phrasing. And that's what good accompaniment for me means. It means when the singer can do whatever she wants and I'm there. Okay? So I will exhort you to practice that. How you can, play the piece, but always, keep some headroom to stretch things out. Because I think that's what people want to listen, actually. There are a lot of famous art songs and arias, that's the name, that I bet you all have played a lot. And maybe you have find yourself playing the same way, always. That's good, But it's better if you can tweak it a little, okay? And maybe get out of the, I don't know how to say, get out of the standard way of playing, if that's the word, okay? Or the stylistic way of playing, and make it something else. And don't be afraid to make it something else. That's all my message. Don't be afraid to do something else. When I say this, don't be afraid to change it to a bossa nova. Okay? It doesn't have to be the whole thing, but you can have one bar and play as a bossa or as a polka or as a whatever you want. Okay? Even people don't have to know, but okay? Because that's when it gets that's when you get something new, and people want to listen to new things. It's kind of hard to play that same art song for the 150 time, maybe, which I'm sure you have done that, no? And the thing is that because you are such a good musicians, you all, I bet you get bored. And when you get bored, it's bad news. Because all your stamina and all your musical, I don't want to say feeling, but all your musical delivery, gets low because you're bored. So let's try to fight boring things and spice them a little, because then you can, what you are looking for is to finally reach, without big intentions, but reach your own style of accompaniment. And people will look for that. Singers will look for that, because singers, I bet they can also get bored. Okay, that's important. Okay, if you like what you heard with me and Fabiana, we can talk a little bit about that. It's a concert that is gonna be on one of these days.
Thursday night.
Thursday night. That we did for a university in the States, and it's all on the romantic style in Caribbean music, which is called bolero. Okay. Do you have any question about what you heard, Stacy?
Yes, I would just love to know, how do you go through that process? So for instance, what we just heard, you start and you improvise and you come up with different ideas, and like tell us a little bit as pianists of how do you go through that process? And is there a point where you say, yes, I like this and I'm gonna keep that, or are you always being spontaneous?
Okay. Let's talk about that concert. Okay, as an example. Okay, Fabiana is a very young person. She's like 30, 36, 37, 38. Okay, I'm a very old guy. I'm 57. So I come from a different musical era. Okay, and I'm talking about the 70s and the 80s. Okay, but let's say in 1973, I was 10 years old. Okay, so all that disco music and all that stuff, I've been listening to that since now. But what happened to me, which is I was very lucky, is when I started playing professionally, when I was about, I really started late. I was about 25, 26 years old. When I started, I played with a Latin big band here in Puerto Rico that specialized in music from the 40s, the 50s. Okay, so there I learned a lot about the style. See, plus my mom and dad, they had a very good music collection, which I listened since I was very small. Uh, when I was like 10 years old, and I remember that because we moved from a house on that year on 73, and I remember that my dad bought a new sound system and a bunch of new records, and I listened to them, and I fall in love at that early age with the bolero and with the Brazilian music, okay, which has a lot of in common because both of them are very influenced by jazz. So I kind of knew about this style, although I was younger than the average musician for that style, I mean, okay? And with that guy, we got to play with many international artists that came to Puerto Rico, very famous in the 50s on the bolero style. So I was very lucky. I got to meet people that died decades ago, because they were very old, and I got to meet them. Okay, even with that, I met Mario Bauza, which is the creator of Latin jazz style in New York from the 20s and 30s, and I met him thanks to that stuff. Okay, so that means that I kind of understand this style. So that's the first thing. If you understand this style, you don't have to prepare yourself so much. Okay, I can bet. Stacy, where are you from?
It's a great question. My dad was in the military, and then I was married to someone in the military, so I've lived all over.
All over. Perfect. Well, you were born there. Where?
I was born here in Louisiana.
In Louisiana. Okay. So I can bet that you have a good understanding of the South music, the music from the South. Maybe the folk thing from Louisiana, which is very strong, like with the spoons and everything, no? So I can bet that if someone told you to play something on that, you won't have to prepare yourself so much. Okay, you can do it naturally because that maybe was the music that you grew on. Okay, so what that means is that you have to get in your brain references from the styles. That's the thing, and I mean through the ear, not so much from the parts, but through the ear. You have to listen and listen and listen and listen and never stop listening. Okay, never stop listening. Not only because your knowledge will grow, but because your confidence will grow. Is there no confidence? There's nothing. Do you agree with that? There's no way you can play if you don't trust yourself. That's the main thing. Okay, that's the main thing. And a little comment on that. The best thing to trust on yourself is not to care. If you care too much, you're done. Okay? The good thing about music is that it happens and it goes. It stays in the recording, but I don't care either. Okay? It comes and it goes. And what you have to be expectant and prepare is for the next thing, always. Not what you play today, but what are you going to play tomorrow? That and it has to be something new. Okay, so you have to throw yourself to the fire and play whatever you think is correct and do it. No doubts on that. Okay, so that's my background, let's say. But Fabiana's is younger, so she doesn't have that background. She actually didn't know like 80% of the songs that she did right before maybe a month, 2 months or so. Okay, so she had to work a little more than me. Okay. The other thing, half of the songs I knew them long way before. Okay, so I didn't have to learn them. I had to know them. Okay, I have to know the melody, the notes. I'm talking about the notes of the melody, and I have to know the chords, the harmonic movements. Okay, you can talk about chords, but chords are a tool of the harmonic mood that we want to be on. Okay, and that means that chords doesn't have to be always the same for any song. They can be changed because you are not playing chords, you are playing harmonic moods. That's the word, moods. How you say that? Moods or mutes or something like that. No? Okay. What you want to play and to create, it's harmonic moods, because that's what touch people, and you know that. When we go back to school, they talk about the major chords and the minor chords, happy chords, sad chords, because it's that those chords transmit a mental mood of sadness, happiness, so on. Okay, so what I wanted to do is to really know, and I don't mean learn, I mean know, or so like meet the song, like make the song my friend. That's all. Okay, so I had to know the melody notes and the harmonic moods that the song provides. Then I can play whatever I want. Because if you know the melody notes, you know the chords that can be played, that can be more than the one that came with the song in the part. You all know that. Am I right? So you can start changing things. Okay? But for that to be easy, not good, because I can do that, and it doesn't mean that that is good. It means that I change it, period. But it doesn't mean that it's gonna be good. It may be good, it may be worse, it may be bad, or hopefully it may be great. Okay. For you to do that, you have to have your theory very understand it. That's the word. Okay. You have to have your theory in your mind clear. That's what I mean. You have to be clear in your theory, because if you have a note, let me know if you can listen to this. Okay, that's a C. How many chords can I play on that C? A bunch, no? If I do it just for the sake of playing, if I do it with changing the chords chromatically down, is that I go like this. Okay, it can be like. Okay, so I can use any of those 12 chords at any point of the melody. Okay, if you see the chart, can you see the chart now? No, it starts maybe. Am I right? I can't see it. Let me see. No, I was wrong. Something like that, no? So I can go. See? I go like. Whatever you want, if your theory is clear. Okay? It is that the song starts with a C minor and the melody is the 9th. Okay? So we. Okay? So I can go. I can go. Which is I don't know what is kind of diminished chord. Okay? Or to the fourth of the tonic, which is F minor. Okay? Or to the 3rd. Okay, so there are like a bunch of alternatives, but your theory has to be clear, because then what you want to do is something new. That's my point. Okay, you are all familiar with the chords and the whole harmony thing. We don't have to talk about that, no? How the harmonic movements tell you which notes you have available. That's clear, huh? Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like harmony is, for me, it's kind of a puzzle that you take the pieces and you arrange them in your way. Okay. Sometimes you don't even have a good explanation for what you're doing, but it sounds good. So who cares then? Except if you're writing a book, you know, but you don't write a book every day, so you don't have to worry about that so much. Okay, don't punish yourself because you can't explain what you're doing. Yes.
So how do you work with your singers? Do you find that you have to find the right person who's willing to, to sort of flow with your improv? Or do you find a lot of singers, especially I'm thinking, I guess, of the ones who are more classically trained, are they comfortable with that? Is that uncomfortable? Are there certain frameworks you agree on before you start changing things?
Again, that's the big question. How you deal with things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main question here. There are many answers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna give you the right answers in the right order, but let's try. Okay. First, you start dealing with yourself. That's the first step. What you want to do, how you want to do it, is it worth it? Do it. So, are you helping, or are you, the other word, which I don't know, are you harming the performance because you want to play all those things? You know, is it worth it again? You know, are you gonna get in the way of the singer, regardless if the singer is good or not? Okay, so you have to deal first with yourself, and you have to be careful on what you're gonna do. Okay, because sometimes you think you're doing a great thing, and it doesn't work. So you have to be careful with what you're doing. Then you don't know, because the voice is an instrument from the body. There are some good days and there are not good days. Okay, so you don't know what's going to happen, even after great 10 rehearsals. You don't know what's going to happen on the performance night. Okay, so you have to be aware. You have to be aware. You have to know the music. You have to know the singer as best as you can, because sometimes you met them on stage, and you have to have your ear as open as you can, because you are giving that person company. Okay, so that means that you want them, as in life, you want them to feel safe. So your work actually is making them feel safe. Okay, you can always throw a curveball once in a while and see what they do, but the important thing is that they know that you, at some point, you're going to throw them something, so they are aware. But technically, then, if you have the opportunity for rehearse, you practice that with them. You see? So it's not a surprise.
That was my question. Yeah. Like, what do you agree on that? Like, okay, I will do 4 bars of intro, or, like, just so they are clear and not feeling uncomfortable in the performance, or like, what's the rehearsal communication like for like specifically for you, like for you and Fabiana, let's say?
Okay. We don't plan on 4 bars. I just say, I'm going to play something, and my mission is to play something good with some deepness, but clear for her. See, you can do things maybe in the first 3 bars, but on the 4th bar, you start to clean things up and give them a good entrance. It's like opening a door. You open the door full. You don't kind of open it and close it and open it and close it, and she doesn't know when she's going to enter. You see? So you have to open the door with ¿cómo se dice? With sort of a flamboyant style. You open the door. You don't go like, maybe now you can enter, I don't know. No. You just run. It's almost like when you open the door, the air in the room will suck them in. Okay? So what you play is gonna push them to start. Okay? And that's for some people, it's a struggle thing. It's a, it's a very kind of now what I'm gonna do moment. But for some other people, it's the development of an art. See, the art of the introduction. I don't know in which one am I, but I try to, to reach for that, to create art even in those 4 bars. Okay, but the most important art is to open the door for the singer. That's the main thing. You can do it with a thing with a single note, which is something I wrote in the other piece, or you can, musically push her to the front in a way that she knows she's going to start there. Okay? Or simply you can just stop playing and let her in, which is great also. Okay, there's nothing, you don't know how good I sound when I stop playing. It's like heaven. When I stop playing, that's the best thing that can happen. Okay, because you are letting it go. Sometimes we tend to, like and we don't stop and keep playing. No, you have to stop. At some point you have to stop, okay? And let people miss you, which is great. Because when you get back, they say, oh, he's back. See? And something happened there.
I would imagine that also that you will have developed a large trust with each other, so that if for some reason someone mistakes a cue, then they know 100% that the other person will follow exactly and catch each other. And
good point. And the contrary of that is no point. There's no point in doing this if you don't trust each other. There's no point. I mean, it's not worth it. Again, it's not worth it. Even if you haven't met, okay, you have to trust the other, and the other have to trust you. Okay. That being said, people know. They know who to trust because you built that, and that's part of your development as a musician. When people can rely on you, that's it. It's great when people trust you. It's great when you make people trust you, and it's great that they are not afraid of you. They can just go there. Doesn't matter. I mean, it don't even matter about what happened. It can sound bad, but they trust you. Okay, so that's something that you build with time and playing. Playing with many people. Did I answer the question?
yeah, that was great, because I would imagine that, like you mentioned at the beginning, for so many who are trained in the more traditional, I guess, or classical sense,
Yeah.
part of the trusting process is that in that context, were I to play for somebody, I would trust that they would be performing their part correctly in that style, right? And they would be trusting that I would be performing my part correctly in that style as well. But then I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say, but then, like, if we were doing another style where there was, like, for example, a lead sheet, right? Very different. There's an implicit understanding that you would not necessarily go do everything exactly on the page, right? Because you would be trying to create something new in the moment. So I don't know, I'm just thinking about that in a lot of different contexts, and what that collaboration and collaborative like spirit looks like.
Let me say this, and it's good that we are talking this. We can talk about styles later, but I mean, everything is in Google. You don't have to listen to me talking about things, but you have to be aware, if you have the luxury of time, you have to be aware of the background of the people you are working with. Okay, there are good backgrounds and there are weak backgrounds. Not bad, but weak. Okay, there are some singers, and this applies to everything, singers, instrumentalists, whatever, that their learning method was different from yours. Okay, the musical background is different from yours. The musical influences are different from you, and the musical references are different from you. That translates in time differences. I mean, the perception of the pulse is different. Okay, you can get in the way with people that their time field is kind of shaky, but it's, you know, it's always shaky. Okay, because not because they are bad musicians, but because their musical growth was in a style where time is not that important. And I think that you agree with that, you know, it happens. It happens. Okay? So you have to be empathic with that. You see? But that means then that you have to be very good. So you can deal with this situation. Okay? But the main thing is always to help. It's always to be clear. As I said before, you know, you are his or her company. So you want them to feel safe, not feel sure, because if your time is shaky, there's no sureness on nothing, but to make them feel safe. So you have to play with that. You know, you have to stretch a little bit here, rush a little bit here. And, you know, instead of it being a bad experience, you can turn it into something new, you know, hopefully. But if you play everything with good faith, you know, it will work. It will work. We were talking about the preparation, no? And I was saying that I knew the songs. She didn't know these songs so much, so I was in charge of keeping things together. That was my message. You see, I'm in charge of keeping things together because I can't blame her for having 20 years less of experience, because, you know, I mean, there's no way. There's the experience, you can't not buy it, or you can't get into a machine to get it, you know. So you have to be that person that you know, pulls here, pulls there, and get everything in the, not the track, because it can get out of the track, but on that wide lane, you know, that you can keep things going. Okay, you can always be, you know, like the soccer player with the ball, you know, with your right foot you push it, with your left foot you put it here, then you put it there. You know, it's like that. You are always like getting it towards the goal. Okay, that's I think that's important. Let me read something here that Jessica wrote in regards to the idea of art being stretched. Do you feel like that looks different depending on the style of piece? For example, would you suggest improvising a piece that is pre-written, like Sugar's Song, or do you think that looks different according to the genre? I don't know. Let's go to the next question. Now, again, in regards to that idea of art being stretched, do you feel like that looks different depending on the style of piece written? Can you explain a little?
Okay, sure. So I'm
It's not
thinking,
you, it's me.
no, that's okay. Because I actually don't really know exactly how to say what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to guess that most of us who are trained classically have had experience similar to this. Like we go in and we play, you know, I play for many voice studios, right? So a lot of times, like you mentioned, you're getting the music often as you walk in the door, right? And so you're getting this music, and so maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but you're playing it for the singer. And many times I'll be, yeah, as a student, you know, I was in a situation where I missed a note or I played something, a rhythm different than what was written or something, and the teacher, oh, you know, make sure you cannot, you fix that right away, you know, because so, you know, and I understand why they're saying that, because they don't want their singer to be like maybe not feeling safe or something like that. And of course, according to the notation, it was a mistake. So, but what that ingrained, at least in me, was this maybe understanding that if you see a note on the page, you better play it just like you see it, because otherwise then you're being untrue to the composer's intent. So I understand that part. And then, you know, then as I grew music,
then you go to the next level.
Right, exactly. Then as I go, well, and for example, orchestral excerpts, right? So when I see a Schubert song, my first thought is, you know, assuming it's a good edition, you play what's on the page. Maybe if I don't like the piano or something's out of tune, I'll play it in a different register so we fix that problem. But when I see an orchestral excerpt, what I see on the page is, this is a suggestion, you know, because now I should go listen and I should see what I think the, you know, registers should be, or which instruments line really should be brought out or whatever. So that part I think of as far more up to me than, you know, playing a Beethoven sonata or something like that. So I was just curious on your idea on that, like when you're saying, you know, we play these same pieces 150 times. Yeah, you're right. So where's like are there boundaries, I guess, to where you would say you improv here, but maybe don't? I don't know. Just curious.
You know, it's just a matter of agreement. That this is the thing. This is the thing. There is the academic way of doing things, and it's academic because it's part of a system, of a pedagogical system that has to have boundaries, okay? Because those boundaries are there so the teachers can measure the development of the student in an objective way. Perfect. But life is not an academic system, okay? So if you agree with that, which you don't have to, but those who agree with that will take the risks that they want to take at the right context. Okay? If the student, if the, let's say student, you are, I can bet many of you are accompanying for students. Am I right or no? In colleges and conservatories and everything, okay? Then you are in an academic system, okay? So you can do it in a very strict, traditional way of results, because we're looking for results, okay? And not or, and you can do it in an experimental way parallel to the academic system, okay? You don't have to get out of the university to do other things. You can do them there. But it has to be on the right context. And what I'm saying, you're gonna, let's say this next semester, whatever you teach, you're gonna put the experimental hour every Friday at 1 p.m. Okay, for accompaniment pianist. And what you will do is, okay, this is the piece. Now, change it. Do something better than this. Better, not different, better. And better may mean take out notes or add notes or put some rest where there are not. You see? I mean, you don't have to change the whole 4 centuries of music. Okay? You just play with it. You play with it. Okay? You can reharmonize tunes, which is something I love to do it. As a matter of fact, I'm planning with Fabiana because she's a lyrical, that's the way, it's lyrical singer. She's a, that's how you say it?
Say it again.
She's a lyrical singer or a,
Oh, lyrical, yeah. Lyrics, a soprano, lyric soprano.
yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
She's a mezzo, but yeah, lyrical, like bel canto. Bel
that's
canto
right.
singing. Yeah.
Bel canto, that's right. And she has a bunch of books here with beautiful songs, which I love to change. Okay, so we are planning on do some recording with those changes. Okay, they are not better, but they are different, and maybe someone would like to listen to them in a different way. Okay, so you can do that at school, you know, even with no credit and no you know, just a rehearsal thing for the piano players. And you can tell them, okay, let's say this piece, which you got the melody on top and the accompaniment on the other stuff, no? Do you know the harmonic moves of those? I can bet 50% does, 50% doesn't. That's your contribution, okay? Even before changing everything, do you really know the piece? Do you really know what you're playing? Let's put the chords on all this stuff. The chord symbols on all this stuff. That's something, you see? And it's great because when they are playing them, they will play the notes and they will see, oh, we are on C minor here, okay? What's the good part? When they play a chart with just chords, like a lead sheet, they will say, oh, I can play what was written on the other piece. And that's musical reference, okay? So, short comment. When the teacher told you not to change a note on the piece, it can be to help the student, or it can be because the teacher doesn't know what else you can do there. And that happens a lot too. So the teacher is very important. The teacher is very important. I would say like 75% of the students, ¿cómo se dice? Lagunas. Have 75% of the students' weakness. You go to the teacher and are the same. Okay, so you all teach, huh? Am I right? Be very, very aware of that. Okay, I mean, it's in the books. Don't pass your limitations to the students. Okay, always push them beyond whatever. If I did that with my students, you know, if I wanted them to play like me, it's a failure. You know, it's a failure. So I don't want anybody to play like me. I want me to play like me, but I don't want anybody to play like me. You know, when I listen to them playing the same stuff that I do, it sounds very bad. You know, because they can always do better. Okay, so never do that. Okay, for example, would you suggest improvising a piece that is pre-written? Well, again, if you agree with the singer, yes. If the singer knows what he's doing, yes. Okay. If he doesn't have to rely on you for the pitch, yes. If he doesn't need to rely on you on the harmonic moments or the chords, yes. If he can't do that, don't be afraid to send him back to school. No problem. Because, you know, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. Even without changing notes, we want to play a new thing. Okay, that's why rehearsals are not that beneficial at some point. I mean, what I mean there is, at some point you have to stop rehearsing and you have to start trusting. Okay, I think that for the concert with Fabiana, we did like one rehearsal here because we trust each other. Okay, and she was kind of afraid because it was new for her. No? I said, don't worry. You are good at pitch. You have a good time feel. That's all I need. Don't be afraid of what I do, and just keep going. At some point, you will start to enjoy what I'm doing. At some point. And that's when things start to happen. Okay? But that requires experience, and happily, experience doesn't mean years. It means miles. How many flight miles you have. So you can have a student that is 25 years old that will have 100 miles, 100,000 miles of music inside him. Okay? And that's what you want to provoke. That's what you want them to understand. You know, you don't have to wait 5 years to get good. You have to practice and listen to music and study every day and practice and do it and do it and do it. So yes, you can improvise in a piece as you wrote. Anatolia, how will you teach that theory, the harmonic progression of the style, to a student who is new to the genre? At one assignment of information, we used to suggest students to practice all the time. It's a good question. It actually is a very simple question because there are a bunch of methods online on Google about, let me write, about harmonic analysis.
Yeah, but practically, we have all these method books, of course, and
that start, okay,
yeah,
open them and study them. the hard thing is to open the books. It's the worst. It's the worst. I know you have your thing, your bookshelf full of books that have never been opened. No, but what I mean right now with Google thing, there is a bunch of condensed theory that is kind of easier to grab. But what I meant by harmonic analysis is the study of the movement of the chords and the scales that are related to those movements. That's what I meant. Okay, have you all studied chord scales at some point? And you know that that is related to the harmonic moment of the chord? That's all. Now you don't have to study, because that's all. But you have to know it. You have to know it. You can say, oh yes, I have read about that. No. That doesn't work. It sounds good, but it doesn't work. You have to know it. Okay? Let me give you a quick example. So I go to, you know that tune? It's called When I Fall in Love. Right. Something like that, okay? So you go like, okay, so I go from C major to F dominant. Okay? Now, if I'm in C, that means that C major is the tonic, it's the first chord. That's the harmonic moment. First, one Roman numeral, one major 7. Okay. When I go to the F7, now I am in the fourth 7, dominant 4. Okay, so it's Roman numeral 4, something like that. 7, dominant. Okay, which doesn't belong to the key of C. Am I right? It doesn't, because it has an E flat on the chord. So it belongs to another place. It belongs to the melodic minor scale. Okay? And the scale that is related to that chord on that harmonic moment is Lydian flat 7 or Lydian dominant. So the note of that F is B natural, E flat, which is the scale of C minor melodic. All right? Okay, so if I change the chord to F, same notes, okay? C minor melodic. But I start on F. And it's called F Lydian dominant or F Lydian flat 7. Okay? So I know the harmonic movement. I can classify it with Roman numerals and I can attach a scale to it. Okay? Once I do that, then I practice my notes positions, if that's the word, no? Which means how I gonna play it.
The voicing, you mean?
I'm sorry?
The voicing of the chords?
Voicing, that's right,
Okay.
voicing. There are some mechanical voicings that all of you know, and then there are your voicings, okay? That you can go like okay? You learn your voicings by position, I can bet. Same as I did. But there's a point as an pianist that you have to decide where to play those notes, because you have the singer there, or the violinist or the flute there, and you have to be make sure that you're playing something clear, nice, and the right notes, and the right separation of the notes, which is the intervals. That makes a lot of difference. Okay, you can try just as a mechanical example. Fourth, no. There you go. Okay, you can go. It's the same chord, different notes and different positions, no? You can go wrong. And that's all. It's only a 3-note chord. It's still F dominant, but it only have a D, a B flat, and an F. So you go. D minor. Which has kind of a diminished sound. So you see, but you have the honor to select which notes you want to play towards which sound you want to hear, and that's very important. Very important. There is a point that you have to break the ceiling from the mechanical voicings, okay, and start composing your accompaniment, okay. Because when you deal with lead sheets, you have exactly the same job of an arranger, but in real time, which is better because it's easier, because you don't have time to think, so it's easier. Okay, you just have to decide. Is it change into a matter of think what you're gonna play, but into a matter of decide what you're gonna play and play with the technical dexterity that it calls for. With I know you all do, no doubt on that. Okay, and for that you have to know your chords and your scales, because the notes that you're gonna play comes from the scale. That's all. So it's not that hard. Okay, and you have to mix that then with the style of the genre, which is in the question, no? How will you teach that theory to harmonic progression of the style to a student who is new to the genre? Okay, who is new to the genre?
I mean, once we study our books, and that goes for us too, who are not immersed in Latin jazz or those sort of Latin idioms. So I get what you're saying. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's what we're trying to teach, and that's like, but getting that theory ingrained as a second nature is almost like learning another language. Although you understand it, it's your language, it's the musical language, but it's kind of different from what you've been doing. And when we're dealing with classical pianists that are trying to get themselves into those different genres and open up their horizons, that is for me, and I'm talking for myself, was that is mostly my challenge. Really being knowing my theory, but being able to make that split moment decision while playing. So the theory needs to be so internalized
I know.
That I don't have to think about it.
Well, the thing is, you know, we are the product of what we have studied. We are the product of our learning system, or the learning system that someone put us on. Okay. That being said, my case, after many years, I have come to the final conclusion that I have no talent at all for music, but I'm kind of good in the theory. And I can deal with that. Okay? By that I mean that if you have the knowledge, you can do anything. You can do anything. Because most of the time, you're gonna be right. Because your decisions are based on theory. And don't misunderstand. I am not saying that you have to play theory. What I'm saying is that you have to have a good knowledge of theory so you can make the right decisions. Okay? What happens? There are some academic systems that don't emphasize that theory that much, especially in instrumentalists, especially. Okay? Because it's always playing, which is great because at the end of the career of the 4 years, they are great players. I mean, great players. Perfect. If that's what you want. It all depends on what you want. Okay?
And there's room for many different styles. Like you say, you're really good at the theory. And so that's not to say someone who's maybe not as confident in the theory, but who is very good at sight reading, you know, there's a spot for them. Or if there's somebody who's really good at understanding a very specific set of repertoire or playing with a certain, like a saxophonist or something, you know, like there's room for everyone. Yeah.
There's room for everyone. That's right. That's right. That's right. But it all depends. Where's Rose? Rose, thank you. Thank you for coming. I gotta buy some roses. That's right. Gotta buy some. Thank you. There's room for everybody. It all, you know, at the end of the day, depends on what you want to do, what you find fun to do, which is very important. It's very important. If you enjoy what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and you want to do that, that's the best starting point. You know, it's something that you enjoy and you want to do it. Okay. I wouldn't worry that much about theory. I will start like practicing theory. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Don't think that, oh, now I have to go back to the books and you know, learn everything. No, but start practicing and researching a little, you know, what's going on.
Listening a lot, right?
Listening
like you said in the
lot.
beginning, yeah, listening.
Yes, listening to know what's the meaning of that what you're listening. To look for the meaning. That's what I'm gonna say. Listening so you can say, okay, I'm gonna check that tune. I'm gonna try to understand it as much as I can. I'm gonna to analyze it, you know, lightly, and I'm gonna check how what I find in that tune, how can I relate it to my knowledge? You see, how can I connect it? That's the word. Connect it to my knowledge. And if there's something that I say, I don't think I understand that part so much, go and ask. And you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot, you know. It's when you understand any tune, you understand a bunch of them. That's the good news, you know. You don't have to spend your life like researching. Okay, You do a little bit and then you play and play and play and play and play and play and play. It's like 10 times playing, 1 time studying. Cut off 4 p.m. Ah, perfect. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Luis? Bye, bye. Now, what else? What else you want? We can do this again whenever you want. I have no problem with that. Okay, you have in the Google Drive for later. You have something about Latin that we can talk later. You have the lead sheet of the tune that Fabiana sang, okay? And the lead sheet, let me see if I can show it to you. The lead sheet that I did in the style of bolero with When I Fall in Love, which means this stuff here, okay? With the audio. The audio is there. I wrote a kind of basic accompaniment with some explanations on it so you can play it and kind of understand what you're doing with the audio that is also there. Okay? So maybe that's what you want to do. Here is my email.
So we'll come back with homework, all right?
Whatever you want to do. You know, if you don't want to do nothing, please do nothing. Please.
No, I
There's
did.
nothing.
I'm gonna send the recording.
There's no greater feeling that you say, I am not gonna do it. So powerful. So don't be afraid to not do it. Okay, that's my email. Check that out and comment whatever you want to comment. Okay, if you want to. I have no problem with that. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
So I don't know, cause I'm just curious, cause like I don't know, cause like so me, very like a limited knowledge about. I mean, I love Latin music, love the style, but like limited my knowledge, and even though I listen a lot, I can really like distinguish. Oh, that's
Define
like
knowledge.
flamenco, or oh, that's
Wait.
Mhm.
Define knowledge.
So
He's
yeah.
asking you to explain what you mean when you say you don't have a big.
Oh, like
knowledge.
limited knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I listen it, I don't know, some people generally expected me as a Korean when someone's like, oh, you know, some Korean traditional music, like they just suddenly expect me to understand, oh, you're Korean, you know all this Korean music. Like, well, not really, because I'm not trained as a Korean traditional musician. But like, I mean, do you have like some kind of, I don't know, naturally understand, or any experience that somebody asked you since you're, you know, like, oh yeah, you're born there, you're Puerto Rican, so you know all this Latin music. Have you kind of
Yes,
that
and
experience?
they expect that from me, and it was a total failure because I really didn't know. I didn't know uh, the technical construction of Latin music. That's why I asked you to define knowledge, because there are different knowledge. Okay, there's knowledge by listening, there's knowledge by knowing tunes, knowing rhythms, and there's knowledge, you know, that you can build things from that knowledge. Okay, all of them are good. Don't misunderstand. Okay, but there are different knowledge. coming from a Latin background, what I had was a musical memory of what I've heard before, but I didn't know how it works, how it functions. I learned that in the States, okay, at school, because now I was in the technical side of it, you see, and then I asked around how this music that I heard before is built. And I think that's knowledge, you know, how it is built. So for Latin music or for any style, you have to understand how it's built and then how it's played. Okay? And that falls for any style, actually. If you want to play good ay Dios mío, Baroque music, the first thing you have to do is compose a Baroque piece, because then you know how it builds and you know what those composers wanted to reach, which is the real thing. No? Understand what the composers want to reach, to, or ¿cómo se dice? Alcanzar, to get, you know, to what's the results that they want. You see, and with Latin music, if you want to have a good understanding of it, you have to start building it. Okay, first thing, compose a 16-bar tune that sounds Latin for you. You see, and then you will play and you say it sounds Latin, but it doesn't sound as Latin as I wanted. Why? And then you compare. Oh, look what they did here that I didn't. You see? Now let's add a bass player to it. The bass doesn't sound like Latin. Why? Because it doesn't do this, blah, 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 blah. And then you will get, you know, you will have something like that. Okay? I don't know if that answers the question, but it's around there. What else? Stacy?
I do have a question.
Sure.
You've emphasized this several times, the listening part.
Yeah.
That's so inherently important. Do you find that a lot of people now, in your experience, aren't listening as much, or do you feel that they are?
I think that has changed. For me, it has changed. I think that music has changed naturally. It has to. And in some styles, it has changed for less than more. And then if you add to that the attention span of people nowadays, you can see why music has changed. Okay? When I was a young adult, maybe in the 90s, no, before the 90s, my entertainment was me in my room with my albums and my records, you know, because we only have 4 TV channels and that's all. So it was easier to sit down and listen to music. Now with this stuff, you know, it's impossible. It's impossible. And it's you know, it's I don't think it's no one's fault. You know, it's just the times. And it will require a big change to change that.
It's just a little bit, it's bizarre to me that in this time that we have such an easy access and we can listen to everything that we had to wait for hours at the library to get, you know, kind of a
And
record
spend
time.
money. and
And
spend
we
money.
listen less, but our lives are also more hectic. We don't enjoy. I find myself not sitting, being able to sit down and actually enjoy. Unless I'm playing that piece, I'm not listening because I don't have any time now, and I don't have the, like
Yeah, I mean that's why I used to teach. I don't teach anymore, but I used to teach, and I was there like in the middle of stuff, right before Facebook, then after Facebook, at the very start of YouTube, but then it changed to YouTube means everything. Well, okay, so I always said that you can't blame those young students for their attitude. It's not their fault. It's the way things are, and who wants that, how much they want that, who gets richer with that, so you can't blame them. You have to be very careful with the students, and you have to be very empathic, and sometimes dig a little deeper on them to understand what's happening, because sometimes we think it's their fault and it isn't their fault. And in that happy note, it's been a pleasure being with you. Okay,
Thank you for
sure.
being with us.
thank you, Luis.
We hope to meet again whenever Anatolia needs to. Okay, thanks for coming. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Hey, I'm sorry. Let me turn this off here and stop the recording. I think you're still muted. Oops, hang on.